Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 160 of my brand new Comics Haul series where I show you guys the new books that I pick up on my LCS every week. Before we get into these, I have a solid week of books here, but I'll get to those in a second. I just want to promote this new short film that I just finished. It was a huge passion project that took me months to make, from scripting to production, post-production, and everything. I shot it all myself and wrote and edited it and everything. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys have a minute, go watch it. I'll leave a link down below. It's called Early Bird. And yeah, hopefully you have a minute to watch that, and thank you. But let's just get right into it here with my first Marvel comic that I picked up this week. This is probably the biggest release of the week from them. We've got Blood Hunt number 2 of 5. So I got the Polybag Red Band edition again. It seems like Marvel's really going to be rolling these out. We got an announcement that there's this new Wolverine miniseries, I think called Wolverine Revenge, by Hickman and Capullo, that's coming out soon, but they're doing a red band for that. I did a whole video analyzing like whether the extra dollar you have to pay for these red band like explicit versions of Marvel issues is actually worth it or not. There was also kind of a review of Blood Hunt number 1. So if you want more info about like the bang for your buck that you get with this, go check out that video. I won't be unwrapping the polybag right now, but you got like a couple extra pages that didn't really contribute to the plot that Pepe Larraz draws, and then some like modified panels, and I think the cover is usually modified also to be like more gory. Not exactly up my alley. I don't think it's worth the extra dollar, was my conclusion in the video I made, but if you guys are picking up these red band editions, I'm curious to know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. As an event though, I'm really excited about Blood Hunt. I love Jed MacKay as a writer, and Pepe Larraz is at the top of his game right now, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. Next up, another really big Marvel release. Speaking of Pepe Larraz, he did the cover for this, but this is the series that he gave up so that he could draw Blood Hunt. This is Fall of the House of X, number 5. It's a big conclusion to the whole Fall of the House of X event. We do have Rise of the Powers of 10, number 5, to end off kind of the two main bookend series that have been going on for the last like 6 months at this point. And then I think in July, or maybe June, I guess, yeah, in June we have X-Men 35 is like this big $10 issue that's supposed to really usher in the very end of the Krakoan Age and transition to what the next step is going to be. This series has been good. I think this is probably my favorite of all the Fall of X stuff that's come out of this. The artwork is definitely pretty weak compared to Pepe Larraz. They've got this artist Lucas Werneck on here, who honestly I've enjoyed his work in previous Fall of X stuff. I feel like maybe he was run a little bit thin on this series. Like there's some guest art in last issue, I think, and there's also some fill-ins in this one. It like does the job, and he draws the characters well enough, but it doesn't really feel like it's quite up to the standards of such a big event comic. But this is just dealing with the fallout of the war between Orcus and the X-Men, the mutants, them recovering and trying their best to get back to their role that they had in Krakoa, save the island from dying and everything. Magneto has been resurrected. There's a lot that goes into this. I haven't been following all the tie-ins for Fall of X, but I understand that there's been a lot coming out. A lot of people are pretty ready for this event to wrap up, and so that we can move on to the new X-Men era that they've been rolling out title announcements for. But yeah, we'll see about this ending. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Next up, moving on to the Spider-Man side of the Marvel Universe, I've got a couple Spider-Man issues here. Starting with Spectacular Spider-Man number 3. This series has been really good. Interestingly, they charge $4 for it, but you still get the same like cardstock-esque, like harder cover that they give on their premium issues that are $5. Not sure what's up with that. Marvel's been making claims about like we now charge $5 for premium creators, or like books with like top creators on them, good artists and stuff, that I guess they have to pay more. It's worth charging $5 for, but this one has like Humberto Ramos on it and everything, and they're still able to do the cardstock cover. Seems a little hypocritical. I feel like Marvel's been getting more and more scammy over the last couple years, unfortunately. But this is a good one to get, right? So you still pay $4 for it, and really good story so far. The artwork is obviously a plus, but I really like the writing. It's kind of tying together all these loose threads between these couples in different parts of the world, and like how that ties back to some kind of mind control happening that Peter and Miles are getting to the bottom of. I've always thought it would be a great idea to have an ongoing Spider-Man title, since we had those Spider-Man miniseries by Brian Michael Bendis a long time ago, so I'm glad to see that they're really investing in that. I wasn't sure about the artist Greg Weisman, because I'd never read anything by him before. I guess he does more TV type stuff, but he's been doing a great job. I like the lighthearted tone. Peter and Miles have a really great dynamic, so yeah, man, check this out if you're sleeping on it. I've been really liking it. That Spectacular Spider-Man, big recommendation from me. Next up, another Spider-Man issue that came out this week is Superior Spider-Man. This is number 7 of this series. Feels like it's been a while since an issue of this one came out. I'm going to be honest, I can't say too much about this one because I'm very behind. I think I've only read the first 3 or 4 issues of this series. So I've got some catching up to do. Based on the cover and then the interior artwork here, though, we've got this big story shift involving Spider-Boy. I think this issue was solicited as introducing Superior Spider-Boy. So a whole lot of like mind-shifting stuff. Different minds being in different bodies. Obviously, the original concept behind the first Superior Spider-Man back in like 2014 or whenever that was, that started, was that Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, transferred his mind into Peter Parker's body right before he died, and took over as the superior version of Spider-Man under his eyes. Since then, we've got this long, really complicated history where Doc Ock is back in his original body now, but he had like made this enemy during his days as Superior Spider-Man that's now gotten out and is trying to kill Peter Parker. So like Doc Ock and Peter have to team up in this weird way that they're not used to. It's definitely not for new fans because there's so much that goes into this. Like at least watch some history videos or something if you didn't read the original Superior Spider-Man. I still really like it though. Dan Slott is a solid writer. I like what he brings to Marvel. Like I said, the lighthearted tone that I feel like a lot of comics are missing these days is definitely present here without losing control of like the stakes and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm liking it, but like I said, if you're new to the title, this is not like the first Superior Spider-Man comic you should read. Next up, I've got 3 issues from Image Comics. We'll start off with a big release from Ghost Machine. This is Rook Exodus number 2. The first issue came out a while ago now, but they released like the first 3 Ghost Machine titles all on the same day, and that was a huge deal. We had this, Geiger, and Redcoat. Since then, it looks like they're just going to be putting out these issues monthly, and then later on down the line, I think Ghost Machine is supposed to launch some more ongoing titles with other people writing besides Jeff Johns, because he's in charge of everything right now, right? This one is illustrated by Jason Fabok. I liked the first issue. I didn't like love it. I feel like it was like it was like exciting enough in an action sense that it was worth picking up a second issue. I think the concepts here are pretty cool, but honestly, Jeff Johns just didn't really elaborate quite enough to convince me on this, or like why it's special compared to any other kind of post-apocalyptic action type thing. It's about this character Rook, who's like a farmer that was shipped to this world Exodus that was promised to be some kind of like safe haven that people could go to escape a dying Earth from global warming. But then Exodus was like abandoned, and it turned out to be some like corporation research project for these like animal hybrids that they've been testing that people can control with masks. It's crazy. Like all that happened in the first issue, as well as like whatever newer plot they're building up to, and like how Rook is going to get off the planet. It's honestly really convoluted for like the initial idea behind a series, and there's so much that goes into it before you've even read the first page, once you're all recapped and everything. I think this is worth getting for the artwork, and I do have faith that Jeff Johns can pull off something a little bit bigger here and hopefully expand into some offshoot titles and stuff. And yeah, this is supposed to be ongoing, I think. And like I said, the artwork is really cool. So I'd recommend it. Kind of a light recommendation, nothing too crazy yet, but I feel like this could turn into something pretty cool. Moving on, we've got a couple issues from Energon Universe. This might be the first time they've released 2 titles at once in 1 week, but starting with Void Rivals number 9, I have also got to get caught up on both of these titles I'm going to show you, so I'm a little bit behind. I don't think I've read the newest story arc of Void Rivals that started with number 7. They previewed this issue as being kind of a big deal for Transformers fans, though. You'll have to let me know who that is down in the comments, because I know nothing about Transformers, but this is definitely my favorite of all the Energon Universe titles. It's just a really solid space title about these 2 alien races living on like opposite sides of a black hole. They've been at war with each other for like, you know, a millennium or whatever, but it turns out they're more similar to each other than they might think. So it's like uncovering the history behind that through the perspective of these 2 characters that meet each other from either side of the black hole, and have to make it out of like this adventure together and, you know, learn to get to know each other's cultures and everything. I've been liking it. This issue looks maybe like it's a little bit light on words, so maybe it's a little bit more of an action issue, but yeah, curious who that Autobot is on the cover there. Lastly, I got Cobra Commander number 5. This is the last of these 2 like launch G.I. Joe series for the G.I. Joe side of the Energon universe, which is working pretty closely with Transformers right now. I've only read the first couple issues of this one too, but it's just about, you know, Cobra Commander, the main villain of the Cobra. I'm not sure what the supervillain like team name is, but you know, they're building up the Cobra side, the villains, and they're building up the G.I. Joe side, hopefully leading towards just like a basic G.I. Joe ongoing series. We already have 2 more miniseries introducing individual characters, though. Destro and Scarlet, I think, are their names that they're bringing on some different creators on for, like, besides Joshua Williamson, who wrote these first 2 miniseries. We'll see about this one. I'm not too excited about this miniseries, but I figured I'd at least finish off these first 2, like launch G.I. Joe miniseries that they were doing. So we'll see about that. Let me know what you guys are still thinking of Energon Universe. Honestly, I've really lost interest over the last few months, but that's just as somebody that didn't know anything about G.I. Joe or Transformers going into it. Didn't feel like they gave me quite enough of a reason to keep picking these up. But hopefully a lot of other people that were already fans of those franchises are still excited about Energon Universe, because it seems like they're doing a lot of fan service in those titles. But those were all the issues I picked up. I think I had 7 or 8 issues, so I've got a lot of reading to do. Looking forward to that. Let me know what you picked up down in the comment section below. And like I said, I'll leave the link to my short film in the description, so make sure you go watch that if you have a minute. Appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.